Now that we have a winning couple and we've officially reached the end of this season of Love Island, I can honestly say this is the worst piece of TV I have ever watched in my entire life. To give some context on my experience watching the show, I, like a lot of people, was introduced to it last season, last summer. I think myself and a lot of other guys out there kind of started watching this the same way, where your girlfriend's watching it and you walk by the TV every now and then, and each time you walk by, you peek at the screen a little bit longer and a little bit longer until eventually you're just cuddled up in bed with snacks ready to watch the next episode every single day. And let me just tell you that I'm not a hater of this show at all. I'm a hater, a strong hater of this season specifically. Last season was fire. Like I said, I was ready every day for every episode with my snacks, ready to watch, having fun. Yes, there was some things I disliked, some things I liked, but that's with every show. But for the most part, it was good TV. The characters felt like they had good chemistry. Everyone seemed to get along well. The arguments were good, over good reason. The drama was good, over good reason. And overall, everybody felt pretty genuine for the most part. And that's the word of the day. Genuine. The cast for this season is the least genuine group of people I've ever seen on a TV show or in real life, bro. Like, this shit was crazy. I think what made it feel that way for me personally was the fact that everybody looked like they were treating this show as something that was gonna put them on. Especially after seeing the level of fame or popularity that last season got. Like, a lot of them are still relevant now, and like, it changed their lives completely. When you compare the two seasons, that's what sets it apart completely for me, is the genuine feel. Because I don't know if it's just me, but last season nobody felt like they had that sort of agenda, and everybody was just there to actually play the game, which is find somebody you could potentially fall in love with, which is why they call it Love Island. Right? I mean, yes, you obviously want to go on shows like these to get noticed. It's a reality show. Obviously, you want to win the money, which I think the prize for this one is $100,000. Split it between the two because it's a couple that wins. You each get 50. I mean, when you make it so obvious, though, that like your whole purpose for being there is just to gain some clout. I mean, shit, majority of the cast that they chose were already established influencers. Like, a lot of them already had hundreds of thousands of followers, already had a living off of social media. And in my eyes, you were just so visibly able to tell that the people for this season were trying to replicate or get that same level of fame or recognition that last season got. But when you do that and you choose people who have that sort of agenda, you get the bullshit that we got this season, bro. It was bullshit. It felt like a game, which it is, but it didn't feel like the game that was supposed to be played. It was like everybody was doing their own thing. No one really built a serious connection for the most part. And the number one phrase that I heard all season, I'm just looking to explore. Bruh, there's a week left in the show. You shouldn't be exploring at that point in the show no more, bruh. In terms of cast members, let me just start off with the person who immediately, automatically takes off at least 4 points off of the show's ranking for me. Like, this is easily the most annoying, obnoxious person I've seen on TV ever in my life. And that's Huda. I'm not even going to ramble on this girl. She needs some help. She's very toxic, very disrespectful to her couples, very just like out of touch. She's very clearly somebody that needs to be in control over everything at all times. And as a lot of you saw, she throws a fit like she's a 4-year-old every time somebody doesn't kiss her ass or do exactly as she says, which is ridiculous and insane. And the fact that there's people out there who defend what she did during the show, I'm just gonna assume that you act that same way, in which case you might need some help too. I'm not saying she was wrong in every single situation. Like, I think with the whole Jeremiah thing at the beginning, yeah, she was acting crazy, but Jeremiah also kind of led her on in a way. But I think that's not what he meant to do. I think he was just so overwhelmed, and like, I think for him it was just a situation where he did like her, but he was scared that if he set some boundaries, like, the connection wasn't going to work out. And I think that's why he went along with it a bunch of times, because at least for me, I could see that when he would say certain things to lead her on or like reassure her, the dude was very clearly uncomfortable saying certain things, and he would say it anyways in hopes that it would sort of establish that connection. But then you can clearly see when he just got fed up with it and he was like, fuck it, bro, fuck it, I'm done with it. And the same thing happened with Chris. At the beginning, he's like, I can handle it. And then at the end, he's just, no. Like, you can visibly see in the connection she had, the life and the excitement being drained out of her couple. Like, I'm done talking about it. It's going to piss me off. I'm done talking about it. Another person that I didn't like off rip, which I know she got kicked out towards the end for some shit that came up from her past, but I never liked Sierra. I thought she was way too media trained. None of what she said felt genuine. Like, to me, every time she talked, it was like she was reading off of a script. That's how I saw it every time she talked on the show. It goes back to my point that nobody on this show was genuine. Her couple, Nick, was kind of pissing me off because, like, you could just tell that he was never really into it, especially when they got towards the end when they closed things off.
I never knew what happened.
Oh, and here we are. Are you saying I'm your dream girl? Basically.
When bro pulls you to the side and makes sure that y'all aren't a thing on the outside world, like, he pulled her aside and had that conversation. He's like, I know we're closed off, but what does this mean for the outside world? Because I don't know if I want to do all that out there. He's not fucking with you. But he just honestly never really seemed too into her, but obviously stayed with her to try to stay on the show, which brings me to my next point about what I didn't like. A lot of the people in this, their connections did not feel genuine. Again, genuine. No one felt genuine, and their connections just felt so forced for the sole purpose of staying on the show, which I get, but damn. Like Taylor and Alandria were extremely annoying because, first of all, Taylor, you very clearly don't fuck with this girl. You're just very clearly leading her on because you don't want to be eliminated from the show. The first chance you get to ditch her and get on somebody else, you took it. Which, actually, good for you because you found a way out of that while staying on the show. Cool, you played your cards right to stay on while finding somebody else. Cool. But I low-key thought he should have been voted off early because I like that one Jalen dude. He seemed like a genuine dude. But Alandria, bro, like, she was tripping. She was tripping. She's talking all this stuff about, I want a cowboy, but, like, the cowboy don't want you. And everybody can tell that he don't want you. Everybody can tell except you. And why is that? And then when you finally find out the thing that everybody else has been seeing for the whole time we've been watching the show, you have like the most fake and uncomfortable crash out I've ever seen. Like, you looked so uncomfortable cussing him out, and at that point it was too late because he shut you down so quick. A lot of the comments on TikTok that I was seeing after her little crash out moment was that she was trying to have her Serena moment, which, if you saw last season, Serena had like the big crash out because Cordell was he like came back with somebody from Casa. I don't remember it, but Serena crashed out on Cordell, and like, it was a genuine crash out because she genuinely fucked with him, and Cordell also genuinely messed with her, and they just had a hiccup and it was a whole thing. You can't crash out about a dude choosing another girl when the dude never actually wanted you. And he made it pretty obvious. I feel like you just chose to not see that he didn't want you, because it doesn't matter how much somebody tells you they want you. If they very clearly show you that they don't want you, you're gonna have to take the actions over the words at some point, or else it's gonna bite you in the ass, and then you're gonna look kind of embarrassed like Alandria did when she tried to cuss him out and dude was just like, I'm not here for you. And she just sat there like didn't know what to say. So that was a pretty annoying couple. I did like Taylor and Clark though, but at that point everybody didn't like Taylor or Clark for that matter, and got them up out of there. Amaya, at first I didn't like her, but then she kind of grew on me. So that was my girlfriend's favorite cast member, so I was like, she's cool. Who else was there? I feel like this cast was also so forgettable. Like, I'm forgetting people. Pepe was cool. I liked watching him. He very clearly has a type, but he looked like a cool dude. Shelly and Ace, I didn't really like them. Ace has a very severe case of little man syndrome where he needs to feel like the alpha, or else he just starts like attacking people's character and shit. And that was just like, let me put it this way. When you have to announce to the room that you got the balls to say certain things, I don't think you do. I think you just do it to make it seem like you do, but deep down you don't do it to actually stand up for people or actually make your opinion heard. You just do it so you get the attention and you look like the alpha, which I thought was pretty obvious with him. Him and Shelly both felt very, very ingenuine. I didn't really pay them no mind. I don't think they brought anything to the table really in terms of entertainment on the show. I thought they were both pretty boring to watch. I feel like anybody else I can't remember, or they just weren't memorable enough for me to talk about. I just know that last season I watched every episode, every minute of every episode, all the way through to the end. I must have stopped watching like the whole last week of this season, I wasn't really paying attention to it because it was just lame. Honestly, in my opinion, I think what would make this show better for future seasons is if they went in and just cast a whole group of people that were unknown. No social media presence, no followers, no nothing like that. Because I'm not saying that these people were like known by everybody watching, but they all had a following. So I feel like a lot of them came in with an agenda, or like they needed to act a certain way that was on brand. And it's like, bruh, you're lame. You're lame, bruh. Yeah, this was like easily one of the worst. Not a bad season, just a bad piece of TV. Like, I don't remember the last time I genuinely disliked sitting down and watching something. But I was just trying to get through it so I could talk about it, and it was just so bad. Like, it was so bad. I don't know, dude. This was bad. Let me know in the comments what y'all thought of this season. Or if you liked it, specifically, what did you like about it? Because I really want to know.